Yeah, You know I'm about to make it hot today. Hot songs. It's that holy hustler, universal, no need for rehearsal.
My name is Chuck Smiley. I'm the owner of GOLIATH'S Gear. I'm also the co-founder and president of the nonprofit, the Extraordinary League of Gentlemen. So basically we use our resources from the clothing and sales of GOLIATH'S Gear to support a lot of our charitable efforts through our nonprofit. I am excited about this opportunity. I had some questions that were emailed. I've always have comments on social media, so I'm just excited to be able to expand upon those questions and answer them for all the folks that wanted to know how we started and really what motivates me. So here's the first question. The first question is, what is GOLIATH'S Gear? So GOLIATH'S Gear is a Christian-inspired clothing line that I started about 5 years ago. And the whole premise is really based on the story of David versus Goliath, how a teenager that was anointed and empowered by God to defeat a Goliath, this seasoned war veteran who really could have easily smite the teenage David, but because God was on his side, he was able to defeat a giant. So that is really the background behind GOLIATH'S Gear. And then we also go into other themes that are in the Bible to expand upon that and really to just spread the good news of the gospel. So the second question that I always receive is, how did you come up with the name GOLIATH'S Gear? And I tell people I didn't really come up with the name GOLIATH'S Gear. My creative process is quite simple. I'm normally reading the word and then something will speak to me. Typically God is giving me some insight or something that I just can't get away from. And that's what happened. I was reading the story of David versus Goliath. And the actual scripture is 1 Samuel 17:54. And I was reading it and I just could not get away from when David defeated Goliath. He obviously cut off his head, and then he also took his weapons and he put them in his tent. So I was in the military. We called our weapons, our guns and things of that nature, our vest, we called it our gear. And so I could not get away from GOLIATH'S Gear. GOLIATH'S Gear. And so that's really where the name came from. And it's a symbol of victory that with God on our side, we can do all things like defeat a giant, obviously, which David did. Additionally, what I end up finding out is that David, when he became the king of Israel, the second king of Israel behind Saul, he ended up reigning with Goliath's sword. That same sword that he took from Goliath when he killed him, he ended up being by David's side as he sat on the throne. So that is the background behind GOLIATH'S Gear in the name. So my third most popular question that I receive is people want to know how I balance everything that I have going on. So it's more of a grind question. How do I balance my work, my life activities, spending time with the family, and then obviously the business. Not only the business, but also the nonprofit that I talked about. I think for me, balance comes from doing the things I love and being passionate about everything that I'm involved in. So we make time for those things that we're passionate in and that we love. And so I'm not gonna lie, like my grind on a daily basis is crazy. I'm normally up at 4. I talked about grind and passion and love. I love working out. I'm trying to stay healthy. So normally I'm up at 4. I'm at the gym by about 5:15. I'm working out till about 6:30. Then I'm at my main job where I work for the government. I'm blessed to have a great job, and so I have to work there until about 3:34. Then I get off work from there and I head to my part-time job because I have a big family and I'm trying to make sure we can do the fun things that we enjoy doing, and we also have additional money to be able to cover some of the expenses for the business when sales are slow. And so I work that part-time job from about 4 to 8 or 4 hours depending on what time I start. So you can easily say that I get home about 7:30 or 8. During that time, it's spending time with the family as much as I can, and that's Monday through Friday. So typically on the weekends, that's when I focus a lot of my attention on the store. And then about once a quarter or so, maybe twice a quarter, I focus my activities on the nonprofit. So it's balancing all those things that I enjoy and I love. On the weekends, a lot of time at the store and a lot of time with the family, because obviously at the schedule I just gave you, I don't have a lot of time during the week. And so we make up for that during the weekend. And that's really my entire focus, man. And that's my Monday through Sunday, 365, 24/7. So I'll tell everybody that, depending on how bad you really want this thing is how bad you'll put, you'll invest in your time and your health and obviously the wealth of those around you, because even if I wasn't making money and we weren't doing well, I would still be doing some facet of each one of these things that I just mentioned. Definitely spending time with my family, promoting the business and growing the business, and also giving back through the nonprofit, because it was something that was so instrumental to me and all those that have helped me and my mom when she was a single parent early in my life. So, that's really how my grind is. It's crazy, but I wouldn't shun any of it, and I love every minute of it. So here's another interesting question that I oftentimes get, and it's, how do I judge success? Or people will oftentimes ask me, how good or how well the business is doing. And for me, it's so important that I started off by telling them the success of the business is, am I doing what God called me to do when He gave me the ideal? And I believe that I truly am. Like, I'm telling everybody about the good news of the gospel. I'm sharing, His grace and the story of that. Even though I'm a sinner and I've fallen many times, He's still allowing me to do what I want to do for Him, and that's for the glory of Him. So that's kind of like a trifold question. Also, I go into, well, am I also able to balance those things that I mentioned in the previous question, the work-life balance, because that's very important. So it's not just financially or monetarily how well we're doing. Am I doing first those two things that I just mentioned, and then from a tertiary aspect, are we making money? Because we are still a business and we still have responsibilities. I still have to pay the employees or my teammates. I also have to pay my kids that are helping run it on the weekend. So I have to judge my success on all three of those things. But the first and primary thing that I'm looking at is, am I doing what God called me to do? And if I do that, I know He will provide a way for everything else that I just mentioned. So that's really how I judge success for Goliath's Gear. So my final question that I received, and really is probably the most asked question, and it's probably the most influential to those that are trying new businesses or trying to do things that are even in the nonprofit arena that that I have experience in. So what is the advice that you have for entrepreneurs or young leaders or people that are trying to move forward in the dream or their desire of starting a new business and or nonprofit or something of that same sort? And what I try to tell people is, use what you have. Oftentimes we think about the things that we don't have. I can tell you, when I started Goliath's Gear, from the business aspect, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of support in the form of financial support. I didn't have a lot of support in like graphic designers and artists. I did have a couple friends that were very talented that helped me collaborate and coordinate on a few things that I wanted to start with. But I used essentially what I had, and what I had was those scriptures and those dreams that I had, and I just moved forward with what I had. Another aspect that I kind of hit on too is, when we started our nonprofit, me and my vice president, Jermichael, my good childhood friend that we started, we didn't know anybody that had a nonprofit. We were just upset that there wasn't a lot of organizations similar to ours that were giving back in a way that we felt that was impactful and innovative. And so what we did was, we just started giving back in our own way. And it started with just a book bag giveaway, something as small as a book bag giveaway. And we started with 50 book bags, and now to the past few years, we've been giving up to 5,000 at each event, which is amazing, and just a testament to us just trying to give back, and how when you're faithful with the little things, God will allow that to grow, and He'll continue to bless us. So I just tell people, like I said before, start with what you have. Whatever desire or dream that you have, just move forward on that, and then that faith will continue to grow, and you'll find ways and find resources to be able to move your dream even further. So that is the last question. Thanks again for the questions. Please allow them to keep coming in. You can hit us and email us at goliathsgear.com or at goliathsgear@gmail.com, and then all of our social media handles are the same, just at goliathsgear. I'm excited that, as we continue to do these, I would like to do more. I can answer more of your questions, but I also have a lot of great guests, a lot of great friends that I could bring on as guests that can answer even more questions than what I have for you guys on today. A lot of people have various experiences and backgrounds, and I would like to highlight them and what God is doing for them in their lives, to be able to share about all the things that they are doing in this world that we live in, because no man is on an island, and so we depend on each other to be able to further our dreams and our desires. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my cameraman, Mr. Clement Jacobs. Appreciate everything he's doing, and all of our friends and teammates and everybody that has contributed to the success of Goliath's Gear. And I also owe you guys for that as well. So God bless you and take care.